Over the years, I've played a number of disappointing sequels. While most have already been featured in a review on this channel, one game that I've been wanting to cover for a while is Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. But before talking about this game, let's go back just a couple more years. I had been searching for Final Fantasy's first foray into strategy RPGs for a few years, and finally was able to obtain a copy when the game got a Greatest Hits re-release. Popped it in and fell in love with it immediately. The game featured a serious story with some interesting villains, offered a pretty hefty challenge, and had an insane amount of customization options for your units. When a sequel was announced for Nintendo's latest handheld, I was pretty psyched. Being able to take a game like this and play it anywhere was very exciting. That excitement quickly went away when I got the game and saw this. A frickin' snowball fight. I've seen people call this portion of the game amazing. In fact, the word amazing gets thrown around a lot when discussing this title, but I have a hard time finding any aspect of this game deserving of such a word. Could I have been wrong all this time? Let's find out. The story of Final Fantasy Tactics Advance is incredibly simple. Marsh gets sucked into a fantasy world and wants to go home. That's pretty much it. Oh, and his friends also get sucked into the fantasy world and don't want to go home. Move along, there's nothing more to see here. Shortly after arriving in Ivalice, Marsh finds himself in his first real battle and is also introduced to one of the game's biggest annoyances, the law system, which we'll get to later. After dispatching the two foes, Marsh's new friend Mont Blanc introduces him to the rest of his clan, which you can rename if you wish. Joining the clan gets you access to several other party members as well. You also learn about the pub, which will allow you to purchase new missions, and is the only way to advance the story. Some of the side missions will require certain jobs or items, so you'll have to return to those later. Once you have taken on a mission, you'll have to walk to the spot on the map to trigger the battle. Combat is similar to the first Tactics game, although a few things have changed. You can now cancel your movement as long as you haven't acted yet. You no longer will have to wait for spells to charge, and you can also save mid-battle, which is a very welcome addition. Another change from the first game is the controversial addition of laws. These laws will put certain restrictions on whatever battle you are in. Some are minor annoyances like not charming your enemy, and others, like banning the use of healing, are downright brutal. Depending on the law broken, your character will receive either a yellow card or red card. Yellow cards are kind of like getting a ticket, and if you accumulate enough of them, you'll be sent to the slammer. If you get a red card, you will go directly to jail. Like, oh my god, do not pass go, do not collect $200. In addition to cards and possible jail time, your clan will also be penalized after the battle, which can range from losing an item to having stats permanently reduced. There are several ways to get around the law system. The first is to just walk back and forth on the map until the laws are not so bad for you. Because nothing screams fun strategic gameplay like walking back and forth. The second is through the use of law and anti-law cards. You start acquiring these after a certain point in the story. These cards can be used to negate a troublesome law, or to add an annoying one of your own. You will earn some cards after battles, and others can be traded for at the card keeper. The card keeper is a cool idea, but not executed well in my opinion. It seemed like every time I wanted a card, I would basically have to trade in every single card I own just to get one good one. The final way around the law system is to only fight in Yagds. These are lawless areas where anything goes, and are the only places where you can play this like a traditional tactical RPG. Be careful though, because any party member that gets killed in one of these areas will be forever lost. The biggest gripe I have with the game is the law system. It makes sense from a story perspective, but really should have been left out of the gameplay altogether. It wouldn't be so bad if the laws made sense, like say if a region was experiencing a drought, you can't use fire, but the laws are completely arbitrary. There's no rhyme or reason to it at all. It's simply, today thunder bad, tomorrow swords bad. And if the laws are able to be changed on a whim, why not just make it illegal to be named Marsh so Marsh gets red carded by the next judge and thrown in jail? Honestly, it's like a little kid came up with these laws. Seriously though, this feature shouldn't be part of the game. They even limit what you can do in the final battle. Really? I spent the entire game learning all these great skills and I can't even use them against the end boss? What kind of asshole designs a game like that? After finishing a story mission, you'll get to decide where to place the next town on the map, and if placed properly, will net you some great bonus items. You'll also be able to open up the party menu to change equipment and classes. Not only will equipment change your stats, but it will sometimes allow you to learn new abilities, sort of like Final Fantasy IX. This worked really well for 9, mainly because you could see the stat changes and abilities all at once. In this game, you'll have to press extra buttons to bring up this info, which feels really clunky. The fantastic job system found in games such as Final Fantasy III, V, and Tactics makes a return, of course. There are 34 jobs in total, a lot more than the first Tactics, but there are some restrictions. Only certain races have access to certain jobs, so if you want to make a Dragoon that can summon, don't know why you'd want to, you're out of luck. There is some overlap of jobs and abilities between the various races though, so there are still lots of options for customizing characters. The graphics are really nice in Tactics Advance, featuring some great looking sprites and locations. The game also offers 3 different display options for the original GBA, the SP, or if you're going to play on a TV with a Game Boy player. The music for this game is okay. While there are some decent compositions, there aren't a lot of tracks overall, and you'll probably get sick of the battle themes really quick. Final Fantasy Tactics Advance is a game I really wanted to like, but it has too many annoyances for me to recommend it to anyone. For every one thing it does right, it seems to have another thing holding it back. So, I guess the game has balance? If you still would like to play this game, you're in luck, as cart-only copies on eBay generally sell for about $11. The game can also be found on the Wii U eShop, assuming you haven't ditched your Wii U for a Switch by now. Anyways, that will do it for this one. As always, I want to thank you guys very much for watching, and I will see you next time.